Good morning students. Today in this video we are going to learn about active voice versus passive voice. So there are three things mainly. Get to know what is active and passive voice and its structure of them, when to use each of them. Okay, so here before get into the topic about active and passive voice, we have to know about subject, verb, object. You already known about these things, isn't it? So quickly we shall remember what we have already learned about subject, object and verb with an example. Okay, Rubina is eating a pizza. Here who is the doer of the action? So Rubina. So Rubina is the subject. And what is the action performed by Rubina? Is eating. So it's verb. And what she is eating? Pizza. So it is an object. So note down here, to identify any object we have to ask the question what or whom to verb. If we ask the question towards verb what or whom, we will get the answer. That is what object. So in these cases we used what here to identify the object and we get the answer pizza. Okay. Now we shall discuss about the topic of the grammar. What we have? Active and passive voice. So basically what is voice here mentioned? Voice is the quality of a verb that shows whether the subject is the doer or receiver of the action. So verb's quality is mentioned as voice. So we can identify the voice of the sentence with the help of a verb. Okay, so the verb only indicates that the subject is the doer or receiver of the action. So the verb can be in the active voice or in the passive voice. So ஒரு சென்டென்ஸ்ல நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ற இந்த verb மூலமா தான் அது active voiceல இருக்கா இல்ல passive voiceல இருக்கா நம்மளால கண்டுபிடிக்க முடியும். So for that, how the verb could be? In which form it could be? That is, the verb should be in transitive verb. So what is transitive? If we talk about transitive, we have to talk about also intransitive. So there are transitive and intransitive verbs. So you have to know what is transitive and intransitive verbs. So what is a transitive verb? It is an action that have a direct object to receive that action. So it's an action word with a direct object. Okay. If we ask the question to verb, it will give one direct object. That is what? Transitive verb. For example, the man loved his children. Here, love is an action performed by the man, which is the subject. Okay. He performs the action love and it has the receiver, which is children. As the man is subject who is doing the action of love and it has a direct object, children. So it is transitive verb. So what is intransitive verb? It is an action that doesn't have a direct object to receive that action. So it is nothing but an action word without a direct object. Okay. So for example, snow fell yesterday. So here snow is the subject and fell is the action. But we cannot say the snow fell on whom. If we ask the question towards fell, on whom it fell or what it fell, no, we don't get the direct object. So it is intransitive verb. So there is no direct object to receive the action. So it is intransitive verb. Okay. So in this grammar topic, active and passive voice, in all the sentences we have to use transitive verb unless we can't able to get the object. So we have to get the object in the sentence, then only we can proceed the sentence as active or passive voice. Okay. So again back to the topic of the grammar, what we have? Active and passive voice. So in this topic we have discussed about what is voice. What is voice? Voice is the quality of a verb. It indicates the subject is the doer or the receiver of the action. So with the help of the verb we can identify the voice. Okay, then what is active and passive? When the subject is the doer of the action, that is verb, the verb is in the active voice. And when the subject is the receiver of the action, that is verb, the verb is said to be in the passive voice. Okay, a simple sentence has the following structure in active voice. The structure is subject doing the action plus verb plus object receiving the action. For example, Arushi teaches Rahul. So Arushi is subject doing the action teaches. She teaches Rahul. To whom she teaches? To Rahul. So we get the object, direct object. So Arushi is subject doing the action. So this is active voice. Okay. Now the structure of passive voice. The structure is subject receiving the action plus be plus past participle of verb plus by plus object doing the action. So the example, Rahul is taught by Arushi. So here Rahul is not doing the action. He receives the action by Arushi. So here the subject receiving the action. So it is said to be passive voice. Okay. Now look at another example. Mayank repaired my car. The sentence is in active voice. The same sentence in passive voice is my car was repaired by Mayank. Here both the sentences are same in the meaning, but the context changes. So in the first sentence, so here Mayank is subject, and what he does the repair activity. So repair is verb. What he repaired? He repaired my car. So for that we have the direct object my car. So here Mayank is doer of the action. So it is active voice. It is in active voice. Okay. So look at the second sentence. My car was repaired by Mayank. Here my car is receiving the action. So the object car is receiving the action, that is repair, by Mayank. Okay. So here since the subject is receiving the action, it is passive voice. Okay, it is in passive voice. So far we have seen what is active and passive voice and its structure. Now we shall see when do we use active voice. We use active voice because it is more direct and the focus is on the actor. So when we are giving more importance on the subject, the action of the subject is doing something, then we will use active voice. For example, the doctor cured him. So here, who cured him? The doctor cured him. So we are giving more importance for the doctor, the subject. So it is in active voice. And second sentence, she crossed the street. So here, she crossed the street. We have given the importance to the subject she. So this is also in active voice. And third sentence, Rohan kicked the ball. Who kicked the ball? Rohan. So here Rohan kicked the ball is given and the importance is given to the subject, that is Rohan. So Rohan kicked the ball. Here the subject is doing the action, so it is in active voice. Okay. So now for passive voice, there are two main cases to use passive voice in the sentences. First case, when you don't know the subject at all. We shall discuss with an example. Steve's wallet was stolen. So here wallet is the object which was stolen, but we don't know by whom it was stolen. So here we don't know the subject, so we have used here passive voice. Okay. So when we don't know the subject at all, we can use passive voice. Now we shall discuss with another example. All the cookies have been eaten. Here also we are not aware about the subject. Who has eaten all the cookies? We don't know. So here we use passive voice. Okay. Now we can see the next case when we can use the passive voice. When you want to give more importance to the action rather than the subject who performed the action. Look at an example. Solar plant will be built in Gujarat. Here we are giving more importance to the solar plant which is being built and least concern to the person who built. About the person who are building it, we don't give more importance. So we are giving more importance to the actual object and the action that is performed on the object rather than who is building it. Okay. Look at another example. The road is being repaired. Here also we are not interested in who who is repairing the road? We are interested in repair activity only. Okay, so when we want to give more importance to the action rather than the subject who performed the action, we can use the passive voice. Okay, so far we have seen what is voice, what is transitive and intransitive verbs, what is active and passive voice, the structure of active and passive voice, and when we can use them. Now let's revise. What is active voice? Subject performs the action and object receives the action. So the general structure of it is in short form S plus V plus O. And passive voice, here more importance is given to the object and action that is being performed rather than who has performed the action. So the general structure of passive voice is object plus verb 3 plus by plus subject. Here note that these are general structures only. There will be modifications, so the structure will be modified based on the tenses. Okay, now let's see how we can convert active voice to passive voice. There are basically 5 simple steps in converting an active voice to passive voice. Let us see one by one. First, identify the subject, object and main verb in the given sentence. And second, swap the subject with the object and object with the subject. And third one, convert the main verb into the third form of verb, that is past participle of verb. And fourth one, add a proper helping verb of to be before the main verb. And fifth one, add preposition by before the subject. Okay. So at the end, the sentence structure of the passive voice is object plus a helping verb plus verb 3 plus by and subject. So these are the simple 5 steps which we need to follow. Okay, so there are 2 important things that we need to remember here. Firstly, when replacing the subject with the object, if the subject is pronoun, then the conversion will be like this. I become me, he becomes him, she becomes her, we become us, they become them. Remember this properly. Okay, if we have some other subjects like professional jobs, doctors, lawyers, teachers, we have to write the same subject as it is given, and the names also have to write the name as given. Okay, remember, keep the verb tense the same. So importantly, you have to remember this point, that the tense of the verb should not be changed while converting from active to passive voice. Okay.